All right, let's dive into one of the biggest mysteries in cancer treatment right now. We're talking about why a therapy that seems like an absolute miracle for some people just doesn't work for most others. We're going to uncover the story of cancer and its secret accomplice. So, at the very heart of this mystery is this revolutionary treatment called immunotherapy. The whole idea is to unleash our own immune system to go after cancer. But you see, its success has been all over the map, and scientists have been scrambling to figure out why.
I mean, just imagine this for a second. A treatment that can take late-stage metastatic disease, cancer that has spread, and just hold it in check for years. It's not science fiction, it's real. It's called immune checkpoint blockade. Now, for something like melanoma, it's been a total game changer. But for really common cancers like colorectal cancer, this so-called miracle only seems to show up for a tiny group of patients. The big question is, why?
To put a number on it, for colorectal cancer, we're talking about only 15% of patients who actually benefit from these incredibly powerful drugs. So for the other 85%, the cancer just stays completely resistant. What on earth makes that 15% so special?
Well, it really comes down to how the tumors look to our immune system. The responders, this group we call MSI-High, they have tumors that are just packed with genetic mistakes. And all those errors, they act like these bright red flags, making the cancer super visible. We call these tumors immune hot. But then you have the non-responders. Their tumors have way fewer mutations. They're basically masters of disguise, hiding in plain sight. We call those immune cold.
Now, to really understand why some tumors are hot and others are cold, you can't just look at the cancer cell by itself. You have to zoom out and look at the entire ecosystem it builds around itself. This is what's known as the tumor microenvironment. And believe me, it's where the real battle is going down. The easiest way to think about the TME is to picture it as the tumor's own personal neighborhood. See, it's not just a clump of cancer cells. The tumor is smart. It actively recruits and corrupts all sorts of other cells. We're talking immune cells, structural cells called fibroblasts, blood vessels, the whole shebang. It builds this complex, supportive community all for itself. And it's this neighborhood that decides if a tumor is going to be hot or cold. And this neighborhood, well, it has a fascinating cast of characters. You've got the killer T cells. They're basically our body's police force trying to take out the cancer. But the tumor, it recruits corrupt officials, these regulatory T cells, that literally tell the police to stand down. It hires fortress builders, cancer-associated fibroblasts, to wall itself off. It even has these double agents like macrophages that can be good cops or bad cops depending on the secret messages they get. So now, that whole immune hot versus immune cold thing probably makes a lot more sense. An immune hot tumor is like an active crime scene, right? It's swarming with police, the T cells. The immune system is there, it's activated, it is ready to fight. But an immune cold tumor? That's a fortress. The drawbridge is up, the walls are thick, and the police are either physically blocked from even getting in, or they're being told to just go away. But here's the crazy part. The tumor isn't just passively hiding. Oh no, it is actively fighting back. It's hijacking our body's own communication systems to betray the very immune cells that are supposed to be protecting us. This quote just nails it perfectly. The tumor doesn't just grow. It builds a fortress and turns your own immune cells into its guards. So it's creating this physical barrier while also actively shutting down any immune cells that manage to get close. It is an absolutely brilliant and deadly strategy. And a key villain in this whole story, a real master manipulator, is a signaling molecule called transforming growth factor beta, or TGF-β for short. You can think of it as the secret message the tumor sends out to orchestrate this entire betrayal. It's one of the main signals that screams, back off, to the immune system. So here's how the betrayal actually works, step by step. First, the tumor and its buddies start pumping out TGF-β. This signal then finds nearby fibroblasts and activates them, turning them into those fortress-building CAFs. Then, these supercharged CAFs get to work, building a dense barrier of collagen, literally walling off the tumor. The result? Our killer T cells are stuck on the outside, looking in, completely unable to reach the cancer. Okay, so if the problem is a fortress, the solution is pretty obvious, right? Demolition. And that's exactly where the most exciting new cancer research is focused, on remodeling that tumor microenvironment, tearing down those walls, and basically turning up the heat. The goal isn't just to kill the cancer cell anymore. The real strategy is to change its entire neighborhood. It's all about converting these immune cold, shielded tumors into immune hot, visible ones. You make them vulnerable so that treatments like immunotherapy can finally get in there and do their job.
And this way of thinking is leading to some absolutely incredible new therapies. We're talking about personalized mRNA vaccines that can train a patient's own immune system to recognize their specific cancer. We're engineering living drugs called CAR T cells to be these relentless cancer hunters. We're even designing molecules that act like molecular handcuffs, physically linking a T cell to a cancer cell to force an attack. It's amazing stuff. All of this new science, it's leading us to a much smarter, way more personalized approach to treating cancer. It's all about reading the unique immune landscape of every single patient to figure out the perfect strategy for them.
And that, of course, brings up a critical question. If every single tumor's neighborhood, its TME, is totally unique, how can a doctor possibly know which treatment to use? I mean, a one-size-fits-all approach is pretty much guaranteed to fail.
The answer is by using biomarkers. These are basically measurable signs. You can find them in tissue and blood that act like a weather report for the tumor's neighborhood. They tell doctors exactly what kind of immune landscape they're dealing with. Is it hot? Is it cold? Is there a fortress being built?
And these biomarkers are really powerful. For example, something called the immunoscore literally just counts the T cells in the tumor to help predict survival. The CMS4 classification can identify that fortress-like environment, which, you guessed it, signals a worse outcome. We can even use a simple blood test to check the body's overall inflammation, which can help predict if a patient will resist therapy.
So this all brings us to the single most important takeaway here. For decades, we were focused almost entirely on just the cancer cell. But now we know it's not just about the cancer cell. It's about the entire immune context. The neighborhood, the ecosystem, the fortress. That is where the battle for survival is actually won or lost.
Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. If cancer's greatest trick is its ability to build a fortress inside our own bodies, what if our greatest weapon is learning to become the architects of that very environment? Could re-engineering the tumor's own neighborhood be the path to a future where cancer has absolutely nowhere left to hide?